Abby Dagnese. How you doing?
Hey there. How you doing?
Hey folks, and hello Eric, I love you. And of course.
Erik says, hello, Mama, I love you. Did you make the typical Irish dinner tonight?
Nope, haven't eaten yet.
No, it's St. Patrick's Day. I made it.
Yes, I know. I got my green on. All right, peeps, we have Abby here channeling the part 2 of the Jeffrey Epstein interview. And the reason, one good reason we've chosen her, or she's chosen to do this, is because she has a story to tell that is very important. And I'd like to share that now, Abby, if you can. It's relevant.
Sure. Okay, so like back last week, remember I was supposed to do that reading with you, and I had a really bad headache, and I had this feeling like I wasn't supposed to channel. I forget who it was, but I wasn't supposed to channel whoever it was that we were going to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't usually find out till last minute anyway, but so I had this feeling like I shouldn't, and then I didn't feel well after I felt that feeling like I shouldn't. So then today, we were planning this, and then last minute, usually like I always do, like an hour before the reading, oh, by the way, who are we doing today anyway? Who am I calling in? And Jeffrey Epstein is what you said. And I went, oh, okay. I was supposed to channel him. And the reason why is because, this is my first time like publicly putting it out there to the world that, it took a long time to get to the point, and I'm still working on it, but hopefully this is part of the whole forgiveness thing for myself. Right. I was actually human trafficked. So it can happen to the girl next door. It can happen to a family member that you love, and it can happen, and it usually happens to women specifically, men too, of course, when you are lost and when you're lonely and when you just want opportunity and you just want chances, you want somebody to give you a chance. So, I, like I said, when I saw I was doing Jeffrey Epstein, I was like, okay, now this makes sense. This is part of my process.
So tell real quickly, because I have so many questions. I really want to hear your story. How did this happen? How were you saved, basically?
So I'd say about 8 years ago, maybe longer, actually, probably a little longer than that now. I was homeless with my son. I was in a really toxic relationship and left it, and I had nowhere to go. A lot of women, and it's happening so much nowadays with the housing prices getting inflated, and people can't just like move out of apartments, that they stay in domestically violent situations for way too long because, I mean, they have nowhere to go. It's hard to show up on somebody's doorstep with a kid, let alone, or by yourself, let alone with a kid or animals or whatever.
Approach you on the street or what?
Well, actually what happened was, I have my degree in marketing. I have my bachelor's degree in marketing, and I was looking for jobs, and I really, really wanted to move to Florida. Always wanted to move to Florida. I live in New Hampshire. I love palm trees. I don't fit in well up here. So, online, I saw a marketing opportunity, and now there's lots of viewers that live down south and live in Florida. And so the sex industry down there, it's a lot different than it is up here. And so they were looking for somebody that was a marketing specialist. And this is my stupid mind, thinking, oh, great opportunity. They needed somebody to do some marketing work for them. He seemed like a reputable company. It seemed like a reputable business. I even talked to like one of his other marketing people that I'd be working directly with. I thought that I had done enough research, but keep in mind, I was not in the right mind frame either. I was just so desperate.
What happened?
So I ended up going down to Florida. I was only there for 2 weeks, keep in mind, but within the first 4 days, I realized real quickly that the intentions of me going down there was not to do his marketing work, but to be his marketing campaign.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, it was pretty horrific.
So were you abused?
Yeah, I was abused.
Oh my God.
So I was pretty much, at one point at the beginning of the situation, I had lost my cell phone and I couldn't find it
Oh, yeah.
conveniently. And I ended up finding it, and he got pissed off that I found it, and he smashed it and like smashed the screen. So when he was sleeping, I actually took the cell phone out of where I knew it was, and then also found my ID that I didn't even realize he had taken my ID from me and from the drawer, and ended up going through a window
Oh, wow.
in the middle of the night. And actually my driver's license was about to expire the next day. So if I didn't get on a flight that night, then I wasn't going to be able to get on a plane back home. So this was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Right.
And
Did
it
he ever
was
get caught?
really, what was that?
Did this guy ever get caught?
So when I came home, I was so embarrassed about my decision to even go down there in the first place. I felt so incredibly stupid about doing that. I had my son, it was supposed to just be like a brief, like 16 weeks, come down, we're going to give you all this money to do this work for us, and then you can go home. You know, it was stupid. I was young and really, really, really desperate. And this is what a lot of people like Jeffrey Epstein, they feed on vulnerability. And I have always like actually been a pretty innocent person. I like to believe the best out of people. I grew up in my hometown of Tilton, New Hampshire. Yeah. And so
did he get caught?
when I got back, what was that?
Did he get caught? Just real briefly, because we're gonna have to.
No, he didn't get caught. And but I have to say, I wouldn't be surprised if he is in prison, because he had quite a few girls that he was doing this to.
I hope so.
So it was a really horrific experience.
Look it up. He probably used an alias though. So
he used an alias with me. And then he kept threatening that he would like all over the internet, like destroy me and my family if I ever told anybody. And at that time, because I was in a place of such low place, it's like I was so terrified. I was so scared. I just wanted to get home to my son. I wanted it to put it behind me and forget that the whole experience ever happened. But you know, it's real and it's scary. And you know, you just can't judge somebody wrong, like they did something wrong for getting involved with this. You know, it's it's so easy to be vulnerable, and
is Jeffrey,
you just want to trust people. What was that?
Well, that's my feelings. Like I'd rather believe the best in people, be disappointed some of the time instead of believing the worst in everybody and being miserable all the time. But anyway, is Jeffrey Epstein there?
He is, and he was actually impatient with me when I was getting ready to talk.
Jeffrey, thank you for coming, and thank you, Erik, for bringing him in. Jeffrey, what do you think about Abby's story?
Well, first off, he's saying thank you for having me. He says, just as much as she feels like she's been exploited out, I also feel exploited out.
In what way?
Yeah, I mean, with all the media attention and with all of the scandals, as he's putting it, of course, some things get over dramatized and become very Hollywoodized. He says, so not to belittle the circumstances, but people are making profit enough of money still of those victims, he's saying, of everything that has gone on. So he's on a different.
I would like you, Mr. Epstein, to make these answers very short. I've got a lot of questions from the community, of course. So the first is, has your soul evolved in any way since the last interview that you had with Veronica Drake? Because that was a tough one, man. And she was right about just about everything. Well, maybe it wasn't. I can't remember. But anyway, so has your soul evolved?
Well, first off, the feeling I'm feeling right now, it's a very emotional feeling. I'm feeling like I want to start crying because his soul has evolved.
Yeah.
to such a level of he just wants to give comfort now.
Yeah.
And it's an evolution that has been a process. Again, time has no boundaries, he's reminding you. So 6 months here for him might feel like eternity. There was a time after he passed that he was not in the fifth dimension. He was definitely on a lower plane, and he was still he says he was just as stubborn then as he was in life.
Yeah.
So he wasn't willing to be all open and all knowing, he says, to his understandings and circumstances that he put other people and himself in his family, he says, because he wasn't ready to cope and deal with the emotions. And he was honestly scared. He was
Okay.
scared about the repercussions of his actions.
What was this? Was this a spiritual contract for the collective in any way?
There were so many spiritual contracts in this. I mean, for the
What was the most
collective,
important
for
one?
the individuals
Yeah.
involved, for,
Well, the most
I mean,
important
even
ones-
going to the UK
Collective. Yeah.
with the prince, you know,
Oh,
it
yeah.
there were so many lessons that were involved in this. It's just such an intricate like it looks like a spider web. That's what he's like showing me of all that was involved with this. It's just like, he says, it's just like any American crisis. He says it's just another American crime story.
Oh, God. Now, did you yourself suffer any abuse or neglect as a child, which would cause this deviant behavior in your adult life? I mean, were you molested as a boy, or did you witness others being molested? Anything like that that could explain it?
That's funny. I was asking him that question. He wasn't giving me much of a good answer earlier. Okay, so all right. Can I have he's showing me imagery. I'm asking him to tell me versus to show me.
Words.
Okay, so he had a lot of narcissistic behaviors as a young child. I actually am getting a sense that he was spoiled in a lot of ways. So he, like, the way that his parents would give him love would be by giving him something, you know.
Yeah.
They tried to make up for it in that sense. It was more, I do feel a distant relationship with his parents. It's not loving, it's just that they're preoccupied.
Okay. All right. Is anyone going to be able to work out your encrypted books and papers to find out all the names of the people who had sex with your girls?
There's a lot of people that know a little too much. If it's in an encrypted book, not necessarily. There are some things that are documented, but it was far too many. And it's not just the girls, it's just the crazy things that they would do with political figures, with celebrities, up on the planes he's showing me. You know, it's just all these, it's like, have you ever seen the movie Wolf of Wall Street? It's like hard to believe, but it's like a true story. Like that's it. It's really, it's more than just for one book.
Yeah.
He was always pretty focused though. Like, I'm actually surprised at seeing this, because I would have figured from his lifestyle and everything I have seen about him that he's a party boy, but he's coming across to me like he was always very focused about his business transactions, and he always had intentions in mind. So he used people.
Oh, is there anyone else that's going to be prosecuted, jailed?
Yes.
Okay. How many people?
He gave me the number 3.
Okay. Did Clinton have sex with your girls?
He's starting to laugh right now.
Woohoo!
Clinton did engage in encounters.
Okay. What about the prince?
Women.
Prince.
What was that?
What about Prince Andrew?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
Who gifted you the 2 twin girls? I know nothing about this. I really don't know much about your deal. Sorry.
Who gifted him the 2 twin girls?
2 twin girls.
He's saying a politician.
Okay. Well, we're going through this pretty quickly. Great. Who would we be shocked to find out was involved in this? Some celebrity, a politician, a religious figure, whatever.
Okay, so I like I said, I haven't followed this that much because he's made me so sick that I just can't. Every time he's on TV, I just get sick to my stomach.
Of course you
look at
do, sweetie.
but he's telling me Rudy Giuliani.
Okay.
I don't know if that's public.
Okay. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Any celebrities?
Yes, lots of celebrities. So
Actually, I don't want to name names.
yeah,
It's the celebrities, politicians.
he's giving me a couple, and then my human mind is like, I don't know.
No, I don't want to do that. What about religious figures? Any religious figures? But don't name names.
I'm getting religious figures that have come to the island.
Yeah.
And they're like priests.
Okay.
And that they're having their fun.
Okay.
Yes.
Were there
And
boys
they're higher up priests.
Were there boys also? Or
Yes.
just girls that were
Boys.
abused?
Oh.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Why did you want to do this? Was it making money, winning influence? Why?
Power.
Power. Did you make money from this?
It was always about a business transaction.
How did you make most of your money?
He says selling deeds.
Okay. Are the souls who are playing the roles of the victims fulfilling soul contracts? In at least some cases, anyway.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Okay. Will Virginia Roberts Guifre win her civil case against Prince Andrew?
Yes. Yes, she will. And that's one of the whole spiderwebby effects of how many people this has affected, these actions with Epstein, because with the royal family, everything is so hidden and tight and deep, and this got out of control, and they couldn't. It got too publicized.
Wow.
And the only thing they could do is, he says, to push him out as far as they could from the situation and from their unit.
I got you. How did you think about this? Well, I'm going to, create this human trafficking, sex trafficking thing where all these famous people are going to pay me to have sex with these girls and sports. What made you think of that horrific thing?
He says it's not hard to think of. He says, imagine when you're in high school and you're the head basketball star.
Yeah.
He says, how many cheerleaders and girlfriends and girls are throwing themselves at you?
Yeah.
He says it's not a difficult thing, and it wasn't for him. It came natural to manipulate people. He did it to everyone in his life, his parents, his teachers.
Wow.
He says that the best chance that he had with the success he had was the fact that he was scholarly. So I'm not sure what degrees he had, but it seems like he would just had a lot of education that made him look really good on paper.
Good.
And a lot of the right connections. He just really very young understood about networking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously he was good at that. Did you
Yeah.
facilitate more sinister crimes on the island? And specifically, was there anything going on with the occult, Satanism, things like that?
That's a good question. So yes, there was. No, it was not a cult. So I'm thinking of like Heaven's Gate and things like that. It was not a cult.
Like black magic, like Satanism, not a cult, but occult, OCCULT. Sorry.
He's calling it a purification process that he would go through with his followers, with his people that he invited into his world.
Okay.
And they would do some really crazy things. Like, for example, I did hear a rumor that like he was feeding people children's blood and stuff like that and brains or something. I don't even remember. It was a while ago.
Right.
What he was actually doing was there was something there with what's it called? Yeah, not cells, but stem cells.
Adrenochrome, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And
Okay.
they would drink it.
Okay.
So I feel like they were drinking some kind of plasma
Ooh.
as part of a healthy enrichment diet that he
And
would
these are
offer.
these are the ones that will abuse the girls and boys, not the victims.
These were anybody that was part of his community that he
Okay.
let into his innermost circle that did whatever they wanted. He wants to make it clear that he did not control anybody's actions. He only
Okay.
controlled himself.
Oh,
He
yeah.
presented opportunity
Yeah.
for the point of, well, again, power, being the ultimate go-to. He says it was liberating, being able to have that kind of just manipulation over really, really influential people and how much they wanted him and how much they wanted to spend time with him. And then the money he would get from these networking opportunities and then giving that, oh yeah, like here's a shake, you know, it's going to make you healthier. And there's
wow.
you know, it's just,
Okay. So, what other,
he wants to let you know there's something to that science though.
the what?
There's something to that science of drinking whatever nasty shake that he was drinking.
Oh, okay. Anything else sinister or anything to do with black magic, Satanism, anything else besides what you've already mentioned?
No, because he didn't believe that, he didn't think about the higher power. You know, it was like he thought he was the higher power.
Were you
So
possessed? Go ahead.
when it comes to like heaven and hell, and he just was really living in the moment, and in his higher power was wealth and money and status.
Wow. So were you possessed by an evil spirit or influenced by negative entities, reptilians, anything nefarious?
I actually see him having this really well bordered up block around him that you would think he would have been so much more influenced, but he wasn't. It was a soul contract to come into this life and have these personality traits and these thought processes. He was no more influenced by evil spirits than any normal human would be walking down the road.
Okay, so no reptilians. Are you reptilian or the evil Anunnaki, anything like that in your blood?
No, he wants to make it clear that he was a human having a human experience.
Okay.
And he created Crisis, which was to evolve into what it is today. He says into more power. So he's still kind of a little power hungry there.
Oh my God. Was part of your contract to push along or help along the Me Too movement?
Yes.
Okay. Did anyone lose their life on the island? So just let me know a little bit about that.
Yes.
Okay. How many? Accident, murder, poison?
I'm seeing an accident. No, it's a sad situation here. In one of their little sex parties they were having, a girl got strangled.
Oh, okay.
That's like a sex thing, just so you know.
Oh
at least
yeah,
that
I know.
that.
Have you ever been blackmailed? And I'm going to open the door for Scout because Lucas is here. Have you ever been blackmailed by any high profile persons with video recordings of them? No, has Epstein, have you blackmailed anybody high profile because of video recordings of them in compromising situations? I'll be right back. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Bella.
Okay. If I put her outside, she'll scratch on the door and drive me nuts.
And I'm surprised my cat's not tapping at the door. She loves being in my room for all my readings.
Oh.
Have
you
she doesn't want to be in with the Epstein one though.
No.
She's all set.
Ah.
Okay. shoot, I forgot what the question was.
How,
Can you
have you
repeat?
ever blackmailed anybody with video recordings of them and compromising?
Okay. So he says he didn't need to, because there was so much rumors with the community about who he was and what he was capable of, that it was like he was doing these things and they knew about it, but they just like tried to think when they were in the moment and drinking and having fun that video camera wasn't really on them. Like, it was rumors, but it was real rumors. And so he used it as a form of manipulation by not correcting people about having video cameras and other means of
Oh, I
being
see.
able to keep, yeah. And then also he didn't really need to say that he was going to blackmail them or try and blackmail them, because he had what they wanted. So there was it's kind of like a drug dealer, right? Like, you
Yeah.
don't need to blackmail your drug dealer because they have what you want. So
Right.
there's no purpose in that. And then there was the internal fear of just, if this did get out. So it's like he kept them close and then they kept him closer, and it just got so dirty. Like,
Oh. So how
yeah,
many young kids have been stolen or abducted that you dealt with?
he's telling me 68.
All right. So you talked about the Clintons. Did Hillary know what was going on? Did
To a
she get
point.
involved in stuff, in sex stuff?
No.
Okay. What
No,
about
he
Trump?
was not involved in sex stuff. He's saying that their marriage is a joke. It was a shame from the beginning. It was a very mutual understanding between them.
Yeah.
However, he's saying as they get older, the Clintons have come to find their love for each other.
What
So
about
they
Donald
really
Trump?
are together still, because they really do now actually find that,
Okay.
yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's a big one with Epstein.
Okay. Did he have sex with minors? Or was he just a friend?
Donald Trump has done a lot of things that it will never be out there about. Some of it will, but the real juicy stuff, I guess, if you want to call it juicy, it's so, I mean, I suppose it could. I feel like there is some video footage of him being in Epstein's mansion. I see
That doesn't
him
mean he
walking.
had
forward.
sex with minors. I just don't believe that he would do that. I don't know. I like him, that's why. But yeah. What do you say to people that think it's not your body and believe you're still alive? Ooh, that you really didn't die.
No, he's no, I really died.
Okay. What did Bill Barr say to you when he came to visit you in jail? And was he involved in your death?
Who was he? I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter.
Attorney General.
He came to him and asked him if he got what he wanted.
Okay.
So he meant it in a very sly kind of, I don't feel like that relationship was good.
Oh yeah, probably not.
Yeah, and I feel like it was just it was a case that had been on his desk for years and years and years, and he had known that he knew so many people and he knew so much, but he couldn't prove it. He didn't have the smoking gun, is what Epstein said. And he says, and that pissed that bastard off more than anything, that he couldn't pin me and he couldn't get me. So it was almost just like, the movie Catch Me If You Can. It's like they were in constant communication for years. And I feel like Epstein even tried to be nice to him sometimes, to just try and charm him into his world, and there were times that he almost fell for it. There were times he almost did.
Now I have to go back to Trump, because I know people are going to get pissed off at me, because I can't believe that Donald J. Trump would do that. It just doesn't seem like the kind of man. He has a lot of faults and he has a mouth on him, but to do that kind of sexual deviancy, I mean, he believed in the Me Too movement, etc. But go ahead, tell me the truth. Hit me with it.
there were things that he was a part of. And we don't need to get into those things because there are things that will never be proven, but he was on that island.
Okay.
He was in that
he could be on
plane.
an island, but did he have sex with minors?
He's telling me that he engaged.
What do you mean?
Sorry, I can't control it.
Oh, no, of course, I want the truth. All right. Why did you tell your, well, I know this Donald Trump is not a perfect guy. Why did you tell your attorney before your death that people tried to kill you in prison? And who were the people you were referring to? I didn't know that.
Because they did, because people did try to kill him in prison. He knew that he was going to die.
Who
He
were
knew
they?
he was going to be cornered.
Or who were they sent by? You know, were they
They were
assassins?
sent-
Huh?
Actually, I'm getting that they were sent by the CIA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a government thing. It was a government operation. Like, this was not an underground, like, you know, old Italian mafia story. This is like government was involved, and he knew it was coming. And you know, he's saying he's just sorry it didn't happen sooner. He says he would have preferred to die in a hang gliding accident. Okay.
All right. Like, what's his face?
Did he
Okay.
hang glide?
Were the guards paid to take a nap when you died? And there was no video footage, etc.?
Yes and no. They were paid off. They knew it was happening. They were right there.
Oh.
They heard it
All
happening.
right. Who directed the CIA? Was it somebody that whose reputation could have been damaged by some one of your clients? In other words, were the Clintons, Trump and his people? What?
Yes.
Prince Andrew. I mean, who kind of
It was
the CIA?
all of the above had issues, which was international, and all of the above had put on the pressure.
Who was the main one? I feel like it's the Clintons, but
You're not going to like this answer, Ron. I'm sorry, but they were putting pressure on Trump
okay,
to do something about it and shut him up. Now,
who's they? Who's putting pressure on
they, as in celebrities, as in just that whole tax bracket that we will never know, that we will never know in our life.
The global elite, members of the global elite, probably,
The
right?
global elite, yes. It was people that you don't know these names of. They're like billionaires from, you know, I hate saying it, for Russia. Yeah, they're not just people that are celebrities.
Oh, wow.
Celebrities have peanuts compared to what some of these people had for the amount of money and power they had behind the scenes that were involved in all this. And when he went out, when his name got out there publicly and it was everywhere, it was like a ticking time bomb. It was a matter of time before these lists. I'm getting like, what was her name? Ghislaine. She had documents. She had lists and she burned those items.
Oh, wow.
You want to know something crazy?
What?
They found her in Bedford, New Hampshire, and that is the town next to me.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay, so, well, I'm going to get to her.
I
But
could have been next to her in Market Basket. I don't know.
God. The autopsy showed there were other injuries not consistent with hanging. And as a doctor, I know that that's true. Were you in a struggle before it happened? I mean, how did you die?
It wasn't much of a struggle because it was like, I'm getting that something came around the back of him, like to the front of him, and put him in the chokehold like this.
Okay.
And then they just repetitively smashed his face into the side of metal.
Oh, okay. Oh my God.
So it wasn't much of a,
were you dead before they put you in the hanging thing, the sheets or whatever it was?
yes, because they were trying to set it up.
Were you thinking of marrying Ghislaine? And were you guys soulmates? Talk about her and her role in your life.
It's funny because I get the secretary vibe with her.
Oh, really?
You know? They had this chemistry that they had power over each other at times. It's like they blackmailed each other.
Wow.
To be in the relationship.
Okay.
So there were times that she was being like truly really evil and horrific. And then there were times that he was. It was like they were the worst twin flames you've ever heard of. It's like the Joker and Harley Quinn. It's like everybody romanticizes that relationship, but if you look at it, it's like, I would never want to have a relationship like the Joker and Harley Quinn. That is not hot. That is not sexy. Like that is abuse. And that's really what
were you guys soulmates?
They came into this lifetime together. There are more twin flames.
Oh, okay.
I feel like there was somebody in Gieslin's past that she really was in love with. I don't know if she was married before or if there was just a younger man that she was involved with that she just really was really in love with. And then I feel like with Jeffrey Epstein, when she met him, the charm of him really just, he really charmed her. And, it was a very dramatic sexual love affair. And it's like, they both were just so narcissistic in the same ways. They had never met anybody that gave them a run for their money quite like each other. So they had this magnetism to them that it's like they were in it together, like Bonnie and Clyde, and
perfect.
yeah.
Were you thinking of marrying her?
I'm not sure they would have ever gotten married.
Were you thinking about it though? Yes or no?
He's still hemming and hawing over it.
So no. Okay.
Yeah, he's still hemming and hawing over it. So I don't know if that's just he still never got to make up his mind or
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think she is in any danger in prison?
She's definitely being treated like more of a war criminal would be treated when she's in prison. I get this sensation that she's a little more protected than he was. They wanted her just as much, and then obviously when he passed, they really, really wanted her. But they're actually trying to protect her more and keep her safe. Whoever the right people are, I don't know who the right people are, but whoever the right people are involved now and actually are trying to protect her from self-harm, from talking to the wrong people, from making deals. There's something about a book deal here that's getting brought up that like she's still trying to be conniving about her story and try to make money off of it. It's weird, but she's almost like trying to sell her rights or something. Yeah, and she's concerned about her properties, like her pieces of jewelry. She wants to know if they were auctioned and can somebody like, she's very materialistic. I don't quite feel the same feeling with her that I did with Epstein, that the CIA is trying to get involved and kill her.
Does she have access to compromising information, like all those little books that are encrypted that apparently Epstein put in different places all over the world?
There's a lot that's gone now because she got rid of it. She really did have his back and her back ultimately. So it wasn't even about him. It was about protecting her and her assets. None of this for her was about protecting him. It was only all ever about her.
I bet. How do you feel about her being in jail and facing prison time?
I mean, Abby thinks it's a good idea.
I know. But do you, Jeffrey, do you think it's a good idea?
He says indirectly, yes, because she could be killed. It's the safest place for her to be. Not for him, but for her.
What are your thoughts about if she decides to turn in client information for less time to be served?
I got to back up a little bit here. He's also saying it's where she belongs. So I guess they're still kind of a little mad at each other, huh? Okay, sorry. Continue with the question.
I got to tell Lucas to feed his fish. He's leaving the door. Okay. What are your thoughts about if she decides to turn in client information in order in exchange for serving less time?
He says he'll be pissed.
Okay, well, Why do you care on that side?
He also says she knows what I think about that.
Okay.
Here's the thing that I want you to get about his energy. Okay. He really has evolved. Okay.
Yeah.
But when I'm channeling, it's a lot of their characteristics and
Right.
how they were in life. They still a lot of times present that to you,
Oh,
so, from a soul level, a more evolved being level, he gets things now. He
right.
understands why things are.
Yeah.
He says that he's still not all knowing and he's still not all loving, but he's working on it.
Good.
So he has to apologize. And he says this is a big step for his manhood to apologize for sounding so just like heartless. It's just that those characteristics, he's having a hard time still
Yeah, you
like
haven't said them.
he's
Yeah.
got two guides that are with him and they're almost like bodyguards. They're almost like COs in a prison.
Yeah.
And both of them are like right next to him on either side. And then Eric's right next to one of the guards. And Eric's standing up just like them. Like he's all badass.
Yeah.
and so I think that there's a potential there that I don't know if this can happen. I've never learned this before, that he could like backtrack versus keeping on heading on, to the fifth dimension.
Right.
So it's like he has protection against himself for hurting his soul, eternal soul, to go back to a darker density.
I gotcha.
So he's in counseling. They're trying to help him, and he's really like has evolved, but he's sneaky.
Well, he always was. So how was your life review? Maybe you're not even finished with it yet. I don't know.
It's in bits and pieces. So because there was so much anxiety, actually, I'm hearing, because there was so much turmoil and chaos and destruction to other people.
Yeah.
Again, God's not judging him. He's judging himself, but he's judging himself with a pure soul. So every time, this is what they're doing. This is really cool. So it's like, picture a 3D video screen all around you, and these two guards are on either side of him. And every time they show him a chunk of what he's done to somebody, like he feels how he feels, but then he feels how they feel. And what they do is they put their hand on his chest, right? Well, his spirit chest, because he doesn't have human body anymore. And it radiates light into him.
Wow.
So that way it can energetically help him cope with the lesson and because it's very emotional and painful feeling what somebody else is feeling.
Yeah.
And it's not that things like this just happen for him. I mean, we have the Nazis, we have all these, the Russians right now, it's like we have, we have all these awful people, Lenin, Fidel Castro. It's like their life reviews are not like a normal human life review, because it was such a huge, and it's not bad because they made the decision to come here. This was actually a very, I think, brave thing for them to come in and play this ultimate horrific, awful bad guy that everybody's going to hate, and he is going to destroy so many people. And the soul, before he comes in, is quite literally like agreeing to this. I mean, think of that concept. Who would do that? Who would do that? So there, he's going to go through his own torments, whether it's on this earthly plane or whether when you get to the other side, there's always the other side, he says. Yeah. And when you get to the other side, after you spend some time in darkness, if that's what you need, he says, they start working with you. Like, you're really not alone. You really get therapy. And they give it to you how you can handle it.
It's good. Just like they did with Erik. All right. Well, we're going to make a little shorter answers, please, Jeffrey. Because I still have lots. Is Ghislaine, whatever her name is, guilty of what they are accusing her of? I don't even know what that is.
He says yes, all of it and more.
Yes, okay, yes. Do you haunt anyone? Have you appeared to someone after death?
He whispers in Gieslin's ear regularly.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She's going a little I don't know what the word is. Like it's like she's going a little crazy right now.
Okay.
And she is actually hearing him though, and he's kind of messing with her still. And
Why?
his guides like try and like rein him in, like, no, 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 you cannot do that. But he definitely he messes with her. I'm trying to think, like, I'm thinking of some politicians that he could be. There's some politician. He's trying to make a wrong or right too. So there's some politicians, like I'm seeing like a desk and like a whole bunch of papers just like fly everywhere off the desk. Like, and that politician like turns around and
Okay.
he's like, how did that happen? No windows are open.
Was Biden involved in any of that? Did he go to the island at all?
Okay, so
Hunter? Hunter Biden?
yes, Hunter was. Um, gosh, I'm picking up something really interesting here. I'm kind of actually wondering if the Russians, like Putin, was having any kind of relations with or like his inner circle, because I'm like seeing like this situation with Putin, with him having something to do with him. So sorry, that was random.
So did Putin visit the island and have engaged in illicit?
Putin did engage with.
Okay, what about Hunter?
We'll say that Hunter
Yeah,
also engaged with Epstein.
and Hunter
Yeah. Yes.
and Joe Biden, the father?
There were instances that Joe was around the situation, but he was also like really busy being the vice president for quite a few years.
Yeah. Did he know
So
what was going on that island?
he had heard some stuff.
Oh, but he didn't know.
Yeah, he had heard some stuff. I mean, I can't speak for him and say he would or wouldn't, but it seems
No,
like he was not as involved with that situation.
okay. Does an aspect of you reside on the earthly plane?
He's giving me two answers, and I don't know how to. He's saying yes and no. So like an aspect of him as in there's a lot of people out there, like I've talked about, that inflict a lot of human trafficking and physical and emotional abuse. Does he influence them? Is that what you're asking?
I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah,
We'll
no, I don't feel like he's doing that. I feel like he has these guards on either side of him, these really beautiful spirit beings that are just really like helping him. He is like, he wants to make it clear that he is sorry. Like he just got really soft.
Do you have any remorse at all? That was another question right here.
Yeah, he just got really soft on me all of a sudden, very soft on me. So whatever they are doing, these guides on the other side, it really is hitting him where it counts with his heart. Something about his mom too. I don't know if his mom is still here or crossed over, but I think she might be crossed over. Because like his mom is helping him a lot.
Okay.
And just it's tough because it's like, what's to say what is bad, right? Because even though it's horrendous to murder somebody and it's against our human beliefs and structure, when you get to heaven, a death is still a death is a death. And like, who's to judge you to say that what it was like, it was a lesson.
Right.
So it's not like somebody's going, no, 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 now, like you did naughty. It's more like, this was your life. This is how we're going to evolve you.
I got you. Okay. Do you plan on incarnating again here?
He has this huge grin. He reminds me of the Grinch when he like grins.
Oh yeah, right.
It's kind of creepy. He's giving me this huge grin. He says not anytime soon, but when he does come back, he's coming back with a bang. And I'm seeing this huge like jetliner. this luxurious jet line.
Well, are you going to be a more moral person?
He says that
You have some karma to balance, okay? What are you going to do?
I'm not sure he's going to come back to be, and he's not sure that he's not sure.
Okay.
He's not sure.
We'll skip that one. Somebody wants to know, are you in the dark now? I guess if you have this.
Not right now. Not right now. He was for a period of time.
I bet.
Because he didn't have his faith-based system. It wasn't, he didn't really have a faith-based system.
Right.
Even if he told people he did, he didn't really, because he thought he was God. You know, like he was so materialistic and didn't really, he really was one of those people that live in the now.
Power. Yeah,
he felt invincible.
So many people.
He felt invincible.
Yeah. Well, you weren't. Why would your soul choose such an evil path in this lifetime, or has your soul always chosen evil paths? I mean, have you always chosen evil in all your lifetimes? And again, also, why don't you share another lifetime that most influenced your one as Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay. As you're asking both those answers, I'm seeing two answers coming at me.
Okay.
We just balance all these thoughts going on in my head.
Whoa.
Okay, so being this past lifetime that he was actually a robber, like a bank robber, and he robbed stagecoaches and things like that. He did make a fortune off of a huge robbery that he had done. And that really influenced this lifetime. Okay. But it seems like there were many, many lifetimes that he did things illegally and then kept getting caught. So then it was like he wanted to come into the next lifetime, but like had some better ideas on how to do it, you know, and wanted to be richer this time and better at it. And so like he keeps coming back and doing that. So
were you ever in a lifetime where you were really good and moral?
Yes, there was a lifetime. He had a little boy. He was living in Europe. Like where the Czechoslovakia is right now. Okay. Whatever country that was back in the like mid to late 1700s. He had a little boy. I don't know if it's like, if they have a river or lake, I don't know. He did something with fishing and he had this great relationship with his little boy and his wife. The little boy, I don't know if the little boy ended up drowning in that lifetime, but he was a good man. He was good to his wife and good to his son, and he had a very simple life. He lived in a very small little cabin out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. Yeah. So read this one first. It's kind of a long one. Nobody did that. He's saying he just got so angry with that lifetime, with what happened. And then he died by the time he was 42. Did that anger bleed through to all your other lifetimes since, including the last one? I think it was just like, it wasn't about anger. It was about being better in the next lifetime. So that way he didn't have to live a life like that again. Okay. And then he just had a twisted way of kind of, but it's a predestined thing. Like his soul knows that he's trying to get to a higher plane of existence closer to God. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many people that are involved in all these lessons and so many compacts that have to be made. Yeah. It's just it's so much bigger than my mind can like even me too to explain. All right. Is your sex trafficking group still in operation? He says, oh, honey, he says, there's more than just that. No, but it's yours, the one you started. No. Okay. But there's so many. And it's not that they were modeled off of that. It's just there's so many ways. And it's, and then they get closed down. Yeah. Can you, how do you think police anybody can stop sex trafficking? I mean, do you have any advice on how we can catch people like you? Good one. First off, I just yelled at him for calling you honey. I was like, oh no, you don't do that. You do not call her honey. So this has been something since the beginning of man and since the beginning of time that has occurred with sex trafficking, slavery. He says,
Yeah.
there's always going to be corruption. There's always going to be people undermining each other. There's always going to be somebody that wants something out of somebody.
Yeah.
And, using sex control is just, prostitution is the word here. Or just like trafficking and getting innocent girls and then just kind of like giving them stuff to provoke them. Like everybody, I remember like quite a few years ago, everybody was like, oh, sugar daddies, that's such a good idea. That's not hot. Like that's not hot. That's not cute. It's not funny. It's actually very sad. It's very manipulating. And so that concept is just as long as humanity goes on, it's always going to be. And people with technology are just going to get sharper. They're going to get smarter. And, he says it's up to the communities. It's up to the local police.
So what's the answer? I mean, is it ever going to stop?
He says it's about, keeping your vibration higher. Don't letting yourself get to a lower place, a lower state of mind.
The collective. How are we going to put a stop to underage sex trafficking? And will that ever happen?
That's the answer, though. You're not. It's not ever going to go away.
Even 1,000 years from now, 3,000. I mean, we got to get more.
Till the end of time. It's been since the beginning of time, and it's gonna go to the end of the time. It's just gonna.
I don't believe that. I mean, we're gonna.
It's going to evolve.
Collective. We're gonna not even have any bodies eventually. So
Okay, look at it this way. So he's showing me an example right now about how like you can go on certain websites and get a pair of used underwear from a girl, right? Because there's sexual desire.
Yeah.
Okay. You could purchase it for $50. Like, I mean, it's disgusting, but I know women that have done things like that. Some men have like feet fetishes. Okay. Look at the porn industry and the billions of dollars they bring in.
But as humans, as we ascend and as one after the other become awakened, humanity's got to reach the fifth dimension and higher. Surely.
But that's my point though, is that he's letting you know that it's going to evolve. So maybe we will not, like, as long as humans are sexual beings, this will exist. If there ever comes a day that we are not sexual beings, he says, then it will not exist.
All right.
He's saying I want to make that clear to you, Miss Elisa.
Okay. I got it. Sex trafficking is quite international. True. Which other countries did you have connections with in this regard? I heard you had a model agent looking for girls for you in Paris. So any other countries?
Oh yeah. I mean,
what were some of the ones that were the most?
I'm seeing a map that's going off right now.
Oh my God, I bet.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm seeing in Africa, I'm seeing in Colombia, I'm seeing in Brazil, I'm seeing, there was one girl from Chile, he says.
Eastern Bloc, right?
Mexico. Then he's showing me England and Australia. I mean, he had
everywhere.
So many, everywhere. Like there was hardly any countries. And if he needed a girl from a country, he could just make it happen. Have you seen that show on Netflix called The Tinder Swindler?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Look how easy he's using this as an example. And that's very actually smart of him to use an example. It's very easy to lure not just women, but men into believing, that you care about them or you're trying to help them and they're vulnerable and they're not. People are really naive, because they want the best out of people, because there are good people in this world. And until that changes and until it changes that people stop having sex drives, then none of it will completely change.
I think we just need to put prolactin, the hormone of motherly love, in the water supply all over the world. All right. So what about the Eastern Bloc? Did you have any connections with sex traffickers there?
He says they were stingy.
All right. Did you ever like go into organ harvesting and things like that? Like get people and take their kidneys?
No.
All right. Did you drug or the girls or the guys or, get them addicted
He wants to make something very clear right now. He wants to make a very well-known statement. He didn't need to do anything.
Okay.
He was so powerful that he had other people that set things up for him and did what they did. He was part of it. He was persuasive, but only when he wanted to be. So he says he didn't need to be the one making phone calls for a girl in, in London to come to one of his parties because they just needed somebody. Like he had other people down the ranks that did those things.
But were the girls drugged ever or forced to become addicted to heroin or anything like that?
I feel like he definitely was involved with knowingly giving them drinks that were getting them really drunk.
Okay.
He would slip them medications here and there.
Drug, for example, ecstasy.
He says he didn't need to do that, but there were people that were a part of his community that did do that because they felt like they needed to, and that was their own insecurity.
Okay, beside alcohol, what drugs were used on the girls on the island?
He's saying like mind control drugs. So like the concoction of like he's showing me like Xanax and or Ativan and something else, like if you mix those together in a drink.
Okay.
And I don't want to put it out there because I don't want to say the right answer.
No, it's okay. We'll go. All right, last 2 questions. What were you here to learn, if anything? Oh no, I want to tell you there's a suspected Epstein associate was found dead here recently in the 19th of February in a Paris prison. French fashion agent Jean-Luc Brunel was found dead in a cell while still awaiting a trial on charges of raping minors. Can you tell me about that?
He says, yes, he was messy. So
Guilty?
he didn't take the care, guilty, and didn't take the care and the time to clean up his own messes.
Well, he was found dead. Was it suicide or was he killed just like you were?
He was killed by like other inmates or something.
Okay. All right. Okay, what were you here to learn and what were you here to teach? And that is the last questions.
So as far as coming here to learn, empathy is the number one coming to mind.
I guess
he had a very
pompous,
narcissistic, selfish way of thinking. So changing that.
Okay.
So in his life review and how difficult that was for him to get through feeling other people's emotions was the complete opposite of every feeling he'd ever felt. Compassion. So that was really his biggest lesson. And the whole soul contract thing.
Were you here to teach anything?
Yeah, every single, he came into this life knowing that he had a couple outs before he actually did die, but like accidents and things like that. But he says he always liked to push the limits.
Yeah.
Was he into skydiving or anything? I don't know.
I don't know.
But
I'm not.
Neither am I. I don't even like step ladders. So yeah, he says he was ready to go when he left, and it was the process of dying to him was scary because he didn't think he was going anywhere.
Yeah. I said, what were you here to teach?
Yeah.
That was a question.
Oh, sorry. He distracted me.
He's distracted. Yeah. Okay.
Erik, help me out. Erik, what was he here to teach? He was here to teach soul involvement, learning from the situation. Like, look at the whole Me Too thing and what it brought on. And this is a story that isn't going to end. There's going to be, for the next 80 years, it's like this tall tale about this man that had these, like, this never left the news, and it's not going to completely. And it was the basis for a whole movement, so that's what it was meant to do. And he knew that coming in, and he's at the point now that he's trying to forgive himself. He's like, one of his guides is stepping forward, and they're saying he's not quite there yet, but we got him. And he's like being so sweet to him. He's like, we got you, buddy. We got you.
Oh, wow.
You know, so he's got a lot of really beautiful help on the other side that is really helping him.
He needs
Yeah. Yeah. He's
All
really,
right,
he's really
anything else you want
involved.
to say before we close, Mr. Epstein?
He says, thank you for bearing witness to my atrocities. He says, thank you to the collective for just being a part of my story, because with everybody having an emotion towards this,
Yeah.
it's helped him because he can feel your collective emotions
Oh, wow.
and helping him process it better, and it's helping him heal. So as time goes on, and it's almost like, I know it gets forgotten in the news a little here and there, then it gets brought up again, and then we're like, oh, we're so sick of hearing this. But it's just like, that's how he can help more people, is by having this story be told. And
Okay.
he ultimately, his goal in heaven is to get to the point that he can help women, and he can help children, and he can help families overcome crimes with sexual abuse. That's
Well,
what his goal is.
maybe we should have a part 3, like what, in a year or something? What do you think?
That would be really interesting.
Well, what do you want? A year? 2 years?
Sure.
6
Put
months?
it on the list.
Put it on the list. All right, thank you. And
Put it on the list.
Abby, you guys can check her out at brightsidemedium.com. And anything else you want to say, Abby?
Thank you so much for hearing my story. It's the first time that I kind of
Such a
publicly,
brave girl. Kudos to Abby, guys. Send her
there's a
love.
lot more to it, but you know,
Send
I
her-
took the first step by
Oh, no.
saying
Send
that
her
it
love,
even
everybody.
happened. So please
Eric,
be kind.
Yes. Eric,
Please be kind on your comments.
oh, I don't read them. Eric, take care of our girl, okay? And y'all subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. Talk to you
He
later.
says, love you, mamacita.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.